Good morning, everybody. I'm back for another week of UFC. I want to apologize for last week. I had actually a decent sized flood in my basement. My sub pump quit working, and water was coming in like you're at a water park. My sub pump pot is very deep, and it's probably holds 15 gallons of water, and that was filling up in like 5 minutes. Um, yeah, I had quite the adventure there for a few days, but I finally got a new sub pump and got it swapped out, so we're good to go now. But anyways, here we are for UFC Fight Night Adesayna versus Pyfer. Um, it's a decent card, pretty solid card. Once again, there's a good amount of new fighters, and if anyone has watched me at all, I tend to not trust them. I tend to try and stay away from them as much as possible. So let's get right into this. The first fight of the night, we're gonna have Thayanara versus Brazil. This is this should be a squash match. Um, Thayanara's only loss was to Brazil early in her career. It was like one of her first fights, but I think since then, Thayanara has improved immensely, and Brazil has basically stayed the same. I think Brazil's only shot is a submission, which that's what she got the first time they fought. But I think this fight stays standing for the most part, and actually Thayanara's grappling has improved quite a bit since that first fight. Also, um, I like Thayanara a lot here. She's going to be the way better striker. Um, so she is live to get a knockout, even though I mean it's female fight, so I would lean the over, but it's Thayanara, but she's a minus 700. Lines way too wide for me to even consider it in a parlay. Um, so that's pretty much what I got on that. Second one, we got Simon versus Yanez. Neither one of these fighters are really world beaters anymore. Um, I got questions on Simon's cardio. Uh, can he grapple for 3 rounds? I don't know anymore. Um, I think he might have 2 rounds of grappling in him. Um, and then Yanez is gonna try to keep this on the feet, and he's not the greatest striker. He doesn't really have a lot of power, so I don't see him finishing Simon. I think this fight goes all 3 rounds, and and my lean would be Simon to win 2 out of 3 rounds. Um, I'm going to use the over 1.5 as a parlay piece. Um, I don't hate fight to go the distance at like a minus 150, minus 160 range. I don't hate that at all either. But my lean is Simon, but Yanez is live. If he can stuff takedowns, he's live. So it's a stay away for me on the money line, but I do like the over 1.5. And then next we got Sterling versus Lopez. This is one of those you've got to show me before I'm willing to put money on you, and that's Sterling. He should get a knockout, but you know he hasn't looked the best on his finishing abilities so far. So I'm gonna wait to see, but he will have a humongous striking advantage and power advantage on the feet. So I do lean knockout, but at this price tag, he's like a minus 600. And his knockout prop, I think, is like in the minus 200 range. So there's really no value at all. I don't really see any reason to even touch this fight unless you want to take specific round that it's going to end in, but that's tough to do, I think. So that's all I got on that one. Next one, we got another female fight, O'Neal versus Fernandez. I like O'Neal here. Um, I think they're both going to be pretty solid strikers. For Fernandez has a little more power, but I think O'Neal is the better, slicker, minute-winning striker, and I think she's got the ability to wrestle. And I look for her to at least get one takedown and secure secure a couple rounds that way. Um, so I like O'Neal, and I do like the over's not a bad price. It's like a minus 298 or something like that. So it's not horrible. I do like fight to go the distance, um, even though if there is a finish, it's more than likely going to be on the Fernandez side with a KO, but I don't think it happens. Next, we got Tybura versus Fortune. This is one of those newbies. Fortune's coming over from Bellator. I can't trust anybody from Bellator until they show me something. Like every fighter I've backed from Bellator has looked like a total flop in the UFC. So Tybura is up there in age. He's 40 years old. I mean, if this was Tybura 5 years ago, he would probably be a minus 150. But he's a plus 110. I'm going to lean Tybura, though. I'm going to lean him that he gets his wrestling going. But I will say this. Fortune's the way better striker. Fortune could knock him out on the feet. Could. But since I'm leaning Tybura, I'm actually leaning the over also. So I'm going to play this and over 1.5. I'm listing it at a minus 140, but I played it at a minus 130. I found a little bit better line this morning on Bet Rivers. So if you have access to Bet Rivers, you can get it there at a minus 130 if this is something you want to play. Personally, I played it. And they've actually got a handful of boosts going on right now, too, on Bet Rivers. I could have put a 50% boost on it, but I didn't. I haven't decided what I'm going to use that boost on yet. So, but yeah, I mean, I like Tybura to get some wrestling going and at least make it over 1.5 rounds. And I do lean him on the money line only because Fortune needs to show me something. Now, these next couple of fights are probably two of my most favorite ones on the money line. First, we got Hooper versus Gibson. And Hooper's line has moved quite a lot. Originally, I was going to give out Hooper sub/decision minus 160, but now it's like a minus 180, and that's getting a little steep for a single, at least for me. So anyways, I like Hooper to get his wrestling going. He's going to have a humongous advantage on the mat. Now, I will say this. Gibson is going to be the better striker by a pretty good margin, too. Hooper's striking has improved, but Gibson's striking will still be better. But I see Hooper getting this to the mat and doing his thing. So it's either going to be 3 rounds of, takedowns, or he's going to get a submission. So I played, well, you'll see what I played after the next fight because I'm going to talk about the next one first. So I like Hooper a lot. He's one of my favorite money lines. But his money line's up to over a minus 300 now. Next, we got Bahamondes versus Masayev. Bahamondes is going to be the way better striker here. He is live to get a knockout in this fight too. I didn't take it, but but I think he's live to get a KO. Masayev is going to have to grapple here. I honestly think Bahamandez's takedown defense is going to hold up here, and I like him a lot on the money line. So that's my two-piece parlay is this right here. I played this a few days ago on FanDuel at a plus 111. Hooper sub/decision and Bahamandez on the money line plus 111. I think it's like a plus 105 now. So I'm pretty sure that FanDuel still has the better number on Hooper's sub/decision prop. I think DraftKings was like at least a minus 200 on that prop. So that's what I like there. And then our next one is going to be McKinney versus Nelson. This is first round or bust, I think. I am going to give out a play at the end that, I'm pretty confident in it. And it's going to be McKinney round 1 plus 110. But I will say this. If for some reason this fight gets out of the first round, I will be looking to put money on Nelson money line. McKinney's got 3 to 4 rounds of cardio. He's going to come out, full force, 150 miles an hour, and he's only had one career fight go beyond 1.5 rounds. That's one. And that was I think that was 5 years ago. It was before his UFC days. I know that. But McKinney's going to be the more dangerous striker, and I really look for him to actually get a takedown. I would actually lean submission over knockout because Nelson's pretty tough. That's the route I would go if I was him, would be to try to get a takedown and finish him on the ground. But like I said, if it gets out of the first round, Nelson is live to get the win. So hopefully it doesn't. Next, we've got Abdul Malik versus Belagari. And this is another fighter that has to show me something before I can back him. Abdul Malik has been wide favorite since coming to the UFC, and he's been he's been winning, but I'm not very confident in the way he's been winning. I actually don't mind Belagari here, but I'm going to bank on Abdul Malik being able to grapple also. Belagari is a good kickboxer. I think Belagari might have the advantage on the feet a little bit. I think he's going to be the busier striker. I think he's going to be the more high volume striker. And I think Malik can sometimes be a little too selective on his spots with striking. But I do look for him to implement his wrestling in this fight because I think that's his pathway to victory. And I think that's what he does. And I think he gets the victory by either a ground and pound, a submission, or just taking him down 3+ times and getting a decision. So my lean is Malik, but I'm staying away from that one. And then we've got Arosa versus Douglas. This is another one where Douglas is going to have a huge power advantage. This is his UFC debut coming off the Dana White Contender Series. It's another stay away from me, but he should get the win. He should get a first round knockout. But if he doesn't, then Arosa is live. Now, I will say this, Arosa's chin is kind of questionable also at this stage of his career. He's been knocked out a few times. And so that's another reason why I like Douglas. But I'm going to stay away from this fight. only because I, there's a lot of unknowns with Douglas. I've seen way too many debut fighters come in and either squeak out a decision win when they supposed to get a first round finish or even straight up lose. So I'm going to stay away, but Douglas should get the win. And then next we got retirement fight for Michael Chiesa versus Nick Price. Actually, both fighters should probably retire, but that's for a different topic. This is 100% his retirement fight for Michael Chiesa, though. And it's not only is it his retirement fight, pretty sure he's from the area. This card's in Seattle, I believe, Washington. So I believe he's from the area. So it's kind of a hometown fight for him. And I look for Chiesa to get this to the mat and get a submission. Now, I will say this. His KO prop is kind of intriguing, though. He's never had one. He's never had a KO in the UFC. Could he possibly get his first UFC ground and pound KO? I mean, you can sprinkle it. It's a plus 950. I don't know if I'm going to. I might. But his KO prop or his submission prop's like a minus 120. He's a minus 700 on the money line, so it's pretty much a give me fight. It's one of the most confident ones on the card, I would say. So that's what I like there. And then shit. Oh, I gotta save this. Sorry. Next we've got Grasso versus Barber. You know, I'm not a big Barber fan. I think she talks a little too much. I think she's a little too cocky for her abilities. I don't think she's as good as she thinks she is. But I also think Grasso's on the decline. I think she had her 15 seconds of being the champ. Even though, I mean, it was just a straight up mistake that Valentina Shevchenko made when she submitted her. This second fight, that was a draw. Should have never been a draw. And then the third time they fought, Valentina just ragdolled her for 5 rounds. So I think Barber is going to be able to do pretty much the same. I think Barber actually is probably a little bit better on the feet. I think she's going to be a little more active on the feet. I think she's going to throw more strikes on the feet. And I look for her to get a takedown or two also and get the win here. I love the over in this fight. I like the over 2.5. I like fight to go the distance. I have played fight to go to distance in numerous parlays already. I do lean Barber by decision. I did not play it. I'm not going to play it. I really don't want her to win, but she's probably going to. And then last fight is Adesayna versus Pyfer. I do have a single on this one, and I'll pull it up at the end. I didn't create a banner for it. Like, it's the one that I forgot to create the banner for. And I'll just tell you this straight up. It's fight to go the distance plus 133. You can play the over 3.5 at a minus 120. I believe that's on FanDuel. So that's a pretty solid number. But I like Adesanya to be the minute winner here. Now, Joe Pyfer does have KO power. Joe Pyfer's going to have more power. He is live for a knockout here. I don't think Adesanya is going to be able to finish him, though. And I don't think Pyfer finishes Adesanya. I think Adesanya gets back on track here. I think it goes longer. He's going to be the busier striker, the more technical striker. I think he's got better movement still, even at his age. So I like Adesanya here. I like him on the money line also. But I played the over. That's what I played. And then I'm going to give out one PFL play. PFL goes on today also. A little bit. I don't think that starts till like 7 o'clock. So this fight that I'm going to talk about may not happen till midnight. And depending on the book is going to be dependent on which name you're going to find. This is a female fight. It's Ariana Da Silva or Ariana Lipski, whatever. On DraftKings, it's Da Silva. On FanDuel, it's Lipski. She's an ex-UFC fighter. She's fighting Inaba, who that's the girl that fought Dakota Devicchia and went all 3 rounds with Devicchia, but she probably survived because Dakota broke her hand in that fight. I believe that's the fight she broke her hand in. I think Da Silva's better. She's like a minus 190 on the money line now. The over 2.5 is minus 270. You can actually get a better decision line on FanDuel. FanDuel has a plus 120. Just remember, on FanDuel, her name is Lipski, not Da Silva. So I like this. It's my one and only PFL play that I'm going to play today. I do like the overs, kind of, in the last 3 PFL fights. And I do think that Eblin wins. Trying to think of the other one. Let me see if I can find it real quick if anyone's interested in PFL at all. I got like 85 pages of notes. The Consagane versus Roston. I'm leaning Consagane. Roston is live if he can get it. He's going to have to grapple for 3 rounds, though. Roston would have to. And I do like the over in that one, too. And then Johnny Eblin's fighting Brian Battle, another ex-UFC fighter. Pretty much all 3 of these last fights in the PFL, one of the fighters from each one has UFC experience. And I do lean Eblin also, and I like the over in that one also. Or at least the over 2.5, which is like a minus 250. So now I'll pull up the plays I made, if I can get it to work. Let me make this bigger. So these here are my singles. Oh, and look at this little cutie right here. Hey, kiddo. Are you a good girl? That's good. All right, Daddy's just got a couple minutes left, okay? So I've got Adesanya versus Pyfer, fight to go the distance, plus 133. Or you can take the safety valve over 3.5, minus 120. McKinney round 1, plus 110. That was on DraftKings. Tybura versus Fortune over 1.5 rounds, minus 130. This right here is a sprinkle only. I literally have like $8 or $9 free bonus wager on it. And that's Nick Price, most significant strikes, plus 260 against Michael Chiesa. And here's my reasoning behind it is take ground and pound strikes normally aren't considered significant strikes. And that's Michael Chiesa's pathway to victory. So I'm hoping Nick Price can keep it standing for a minute or two and get a handful of significant strikes in, and maybe he ends up outstriking him 10-5 or something like that, you know. And then my PFL single is Ariana Da Silva plus 110, but like I said, you can find that at a plus 120. And then I'm going to remove that. Come on. My gosh. There. And then I'm going to add this one. This here are my parlays. And I'm going to just be straight up. The last one I'm not that confident on. I'm not going to say I forced it, but I guess you could kind of say it. Well, the first one is Simon versus Giannis, start round 2. O'Neal versus Fernandez, start round 3. Grasso Barber, fight to go the distance, minus 116. It's probably one of my favorite ones. I really like the second one, which is Hooper, sub/decision, Bahamondes, money line plus 111. I believe that's a plus 105 now. And this is one that I played. I'm going to give it out, but if you're going to play the first one, I wouldn't play this one. I'd play one or the other. I wouldn't play both. I played this one earlier in the week, and it's a 4-piece. I usually don't give out 4 pieces, but I'm pretty confident with it. And that's Brazil, Thayanara, start round 2. Simon Giannis, start round 2. O'Neal, Fernandez, over 1.5 rounds. Grasso Barber, fight to go the distance, plus 112. And then the last one, which is one, I kind of forced this one together only because I've been playing a lot of most significant strike parlays, and I've been having really good success with them. I believe I've hit on 5 out of my last 7, if I'm not mistaken. And that is Belagari, most significant strikes, Barber, 30-plus significant strikes, and Adesayna, most significant strikes, plus 138. But just be cautious. Just be very careful with that one there because I'm not very confident with it. So those are my UFC plays for UFC Fight Night Seattle. Adesayna versus Joe Pyfer. Hope everyone enjoyed the video. Please give it a like on the way out. And hope everyone has a great day.